Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ian Wishingrad, host of Adweek's I'm With the Brand. And like this week and all the other weeks, I'm reporting live from my house. Normally, we shoot this in Adweek's headquarters in New York for 45 minutes, and it cuts down to about a 10-minute interview. But now we've learned how to ask super fast questions and keep it to 10 minutes or less live broadcast to you. You can watch on adweek.com, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, any way that you could possibly touch Instagram, touch and feel Adweek. We're streaming live there. Today, joining us is Alex Reed, CMO and co-founder of Trumans. Alex, you ready to answer some questions?
I'm ready, Ian. Let's do it.
All right. What is Trumans?
Trumans is a direct-to-consumer cleaning products company.
Why such an anachronistic name?
We wanted a name that was human because we felt like the space had really become impersonal over the years.
Yes, but it's such an old school name. I think of Truman, Presidents, Capote. But you're such like a modern thing. Why choose such an old school name?
Yeah, not only was it a human name, it was one that had an undertone of credibility, of transparency, of honesty. You know, one of the comments we got very early on was, you sound like a company that's been around for 50 years. And we wanted to have that trust built into the foundation of the brand.
Oh, that's a good answer. I first discovered you with some cool liquid squirting into the bottle video on LinkedIn, and I was like mesmerized. It was like ASMR for my eyes. Did that asset really perform for you?
It did. We actually had several million views of that unpaid when we launched. So we had a ton of tailwind right out of the gate just by how attractive that video was.
So I thought you were a genius, and then I quickly heard about Blue Land and all these other things come out. How do you manage such direct competition?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players in the cleaning space. And look, it's hard to win on a performance basis alone. So what we've really oriented our business around is customer experience. We go above and beyond with our customer experience team to answer questions, to help with ordering, to really solve problems for our customers in a lot of different ways. And anybody can create a concentrate or a cleaning product, but it's very, very difficult to deliver on a brand promise of a great customer experience that's direct.
That's really interesting. So you're saying is the top line grow acquisition CPA is one part, and you really focus on LTV, I'm presuming?
100%. I mean, our focus on the customer is relentless in doing whatever we can to build that relationship and add value in a lot of different ways. Okay,
so then take me through this as an example, because I think the press in general loves the darlings of just hockey stick growth and hockey stick. And I'm not speaking whether you've had that or not. That wasn't my point. But you keep talking about the customer experience. Have you been able to reduce churn, or like what's that amazing metric you use to tell your story to investors?
I think there are those metrics like churn, retention that you should concentrate on. We try to build fans. We try to build people that are extremely enthusiastic. They feel like they're part of a community. You know, my favorite DTC brand of all time, I think, might shock you. It's Glossier, and that's because they started with a community and turned it into, you know, a product in a marketplace. And we want people to be so comfortable in the Trumans community, or Team Trumans as we call it, that they want to grow with us. And I think that's a slightly different approach to the traditional buy customers and have that hockey stick like revenue.
Okay, so then take me through this, right? Because community is a big buzzword. How do you actually, besides answering questions for them, how do you measure and prove that you've got a Trumans community? I know that when I went to Peloton's headquartered a couple of years ago, they would show me like every 8 seconds, someone posts in the Peloton Facebook group and they had Peloton tattoos, and it was like very tangible. What do you use to prove that you've got such a Truman team, or whatever you call it?
Yeah, the highest level metric we use is engagements, and we look at that as customer service interactions. We look at it as social media interactions, reviews that customers leave us, user-generated content on social. I think in the first 12 months, we had about 30,000 unique customer interactions. And that's a broad spectrum. And we start breaking it down into smaller chunks and really trying to drive those conversations in different ways. But that's the way we look at it, is we want our customers talking to us. We want our customers talking about us. And of course, we measure, you know, whether it's favorable or there are issues that we're trying to solve. But the number one thing is we want those conversations happening, whether it's good or bad, because I firmly believe if you're not engaging with your customers proactively, you're missing the whole purpose of running a D2C business.
Got it. Okay. You're in the cleaning business. Has COVID been great for sales?
I would say it's been good. We're not a disinfectant, and the difference is we're not killing germs. We're cleaning the space, which is removing things. So we have seen some lift from that, and definitely a lot of awareness. But we're not the Clorox wipes that can't be found on the shelf, because that's a totally different solution.
Got it. Okay. The packaging has fun puns like reporting for duty. How does cheeky copy help the business?
Well, we want to be lighthearted because cleaning isn't. It's boring. It's something most people dread. And so when we can introduce fun touch points, whether it's the product name, the order acknowledgement email, the packaging, we take that opportunity to be lighthearted.
Now, obviously, you knew you were taking on SC Johnson and all the big ones and the Windex and the Fantastics and the stuff that's been in Homes for America, but did you anticipate such steep direct competition?
Well, we still think that's our competition. I mean, 96% of the market share is tied up in legacy brands that are sold ready to use and on the shelf. And our goal is to convert customers that are buying those traditional cleaning brands, not outcompete other direct consumer brands that are trying to shift the category as well.
Got it. Cool. That's also the right answer. What's your best channel for acquisition?
Paid social.
Was getting Hankel to invest in you a step towards securing an exit?
No, not at all. In fact, we have a great relationship with them, and there's no special rights to buy the company. We look at that as a good blend of legacy expertise and a new way of thinking.
Your product feels very Dollar Shave Clubbable. Have you tried swinging for the fences and doing some outrageous viral thing?
We want to be lighthearted and fun, but we're not irreverent. I came from Big Ass Fans, which, if people know the brand, was very irreverent. And I think there is a difference in how we approach it. Love Dollar Shave Club. Think they had a different audience and a different brand foundation. Okay,
well, to that point, Trumans is founded by men. Your competitor, and I'm saying Blue Land is the competitor in this thing, was founded by women, or a woman. Your brand skews male and theirs female. What's the reasoning behind that?
Well, our brand actually skews female, maybe less so than one might think, but we still have a predominantly female audience. I think we are trying to be somewhat gender agnostic, though, in our marketing, and we've heard a lot of favorable comments from customers that are picking up on that cue.
I would just say, just so if you could look, I think from a brand guy, and I live in this and look at all the details, that the Blue Land's got a little bit more of that design aesthetic, and you've got a little bit more of a copy heavy thing. And I feel like you could tell there are men behind one and women behind others, not arguing that you're all kind of targeting whoever cleans the home, but it was just interesting to see. I could feel who's behind it.
Well, the number one thing for us is to be different from everybody else, and we try really, really hard to be different.
Okay. You started a DTC company, you've raised money, there's high expectations. How far ahead or behind are you where you expected you would be at this point?
I didn't have expectations, to be honest with you. Every stage for me is a little bit of validation, and I feel very confident in where we are, more confident than when we first raised that round, that we are going to change the category in a big way.
You live in Kentucky. What are the pluses and minuses?
Yeah, I think the pluses are, I'm outside of the echo chamber. I'm in middle America. I feel very in touch with our customer base. I think the minuses are the networking effects are smaller. Access to talent can be challenging, although now in a remote first society, it can be a little bit more accessible. And I think fundraising for some companies can be difficult outside of kind of the New York and LA markets, though that wasn't the case for us.
How important is press?
I think it's important. I think press, influencers, customers, anytime you can have somebody else sing your praises and tell your story, it goes a lot further than paid advertising.
How important are reviews?
Totally important. We have made it a big part of what we do. In fact, our reviewers get in on the cleaning puns, and then we illustrate them and turn them into social media content. And some of it even ends up on our packaging.
What is the most important part of Trumans?
The customer.
What part of the brand still needs work?
All of it. I mean, it's constant refinement, and part of that is our customer engagement. And I'm deadly serious about that. Is we're always taking feedback about what can be clearer, what can be improved about the product. even taking feedback on what's confusing on content that we create. So, I don't think there's one sore spot.
Okay. Most successful DTC companies eventually go to brick and mortar. Will you?
Yes.
And what's been the best part of quarantine?
The focus.
Great. Alex Reed, thank you for joining us. And to everyone at home, thank you for joining us. You can watch more episodes at adweek.com/I'mWithTheBrand and come back next week at 4 p.m. Eastern for our next episode. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Ian.